And so last year, Luke Cage came out, season 1, and by far was my favorite TV show on Netflix. Of all Marvels too, it was just so nicely done. In fact, I made a video about it, of all the things I really enjoyed about the Luke Cage season 1. I'll try to put that link below so you could see what I thought about the first season. I haven't watched the whole series of season 2 yet. I've been really busy. So I saw a couple of them, and instead of making a video at the end of watching the whole season, I thought I would make, there's too much to talk about. There really is too much to talk about. I love this series. In fact, I think season 2 is much better. Not much better. It's better than the first season, and I'll tell you why. It's starting straight from the first episode. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about the first episode. So we got Luke Cage is back. Right, he's the hero. They even have an app to figure out where he is at all times. Right? People are trying to make money off his name. So there is people selling T-shirts and whatnot. But then there's the evil side of the city where some kind of heroin is made, and they're calling it Luke Cage. And that is becoming also very popular. It's very dangerous to the people. In fact, few people have died. That's a problem. So Luke Cage is trying to figure out who is making and distributing the drugs. And that's what I get so far in the first episode. And then, of course, we have Claire, which is his girlfriend. But I really thought that I thought Luke Cage would get along much better with Misty Knight character. Because personally, I know I'm going to be disagreeing with a lot of people, but I think Misty Knight is much, in my opinion, better looking. All right. She lost an arm, which is kind of sad, but supposedly she's going to get some kind of a bionic arm later on, and I'm looking forward to seeing her kicking ass maybe later on. I guess the villain is the Bushmaster. He has pretty much the same powers as Luke Cage. All right, but it seems like he's Bushmaster is a much better fighter. So the villain is set, but I think the antagonist of the film of Luke Cage is Mariah Dillard, and I think she does a wonderful job. Only character that kind of gets me, what I think it doesn't fit very well in this series is Mariah Dillard's sidekick. He just seems to be too animated, you know. He seems like a very nice guy, in fact. Very nice guy who's playing a role that is very different than who he really is. That's what I think. And sometimes I feel like he is overreaching his character, maybe. But from the very beginning, from the first episode, what got to me in the first episode is Luke Cage's father. He's a preacher. I think last year they made a contact, they meet again, and Luke Cage is upset that his father left him when he was young. And the father is reaching out to Luke Cage because the father, who's a preacher now, who has repented of his sins, it seems like, and he seems like a very legit preacher now, right? He just wants to tell people of what is right because he has lived a kind of a life that wasn't so good. He has reformed. And he's trying to reach out to Luke Cage to tell him about the danger of having such power, right? And having such fame. And so when there's a scene where Luke Cage's father is looking at a mirror, practicing his sermon. And I think a lot of pastors actually do that. They write their sermon and they read it over and they practice preaching. I have never done that personally, but I think I should, but I'm just kind of too lazy to do it. But I love that scene where he's talking to himself, and in fact, right in the middle of it, he kind of encouraged himself, just preach the word, just preach. And that was really cool. I think by far that's been my favorite scene out of the whole season 1 and 2. There's that scene in the first season when the rap song is going and the pride in the neighborhood. That was awesome. But this one I like it a little better because he's a father who knows the son very well. And the main focus of his sermon is going to be is Luke Cage is kind of like Jesus, a savior. And that's what I thought. He's a savior of the city. In fact, Luke Cage calls it my city, right? And I think there lies the problem. The problem is Luke Cage has this vision, a utopian vision of what the city could look like, what it should be. When the evil's gone and only goodness, thrives. And Luke Cage is trying his best to bring that utopian city, but at the same time, when the Father is practicing his sermon, what he says is that he is not Jesus Christ. He can't save. And even if you look at the message of Jesus, he came as the light unto this world, but the people did not choose to live in the light. They choose the darkness because that's what they're familiar with maybe, or they think they don't need a savior. And there it lies the problem. So if Luke Cage thinks he's Jesus Christ, which the preacher thinks Luke Cage is making a mistake of, and then he goes into but he is just a man. See, there is the focus. All right, there is the focus of the whole second season, I think. I haven't seen the whole season yet, but what I think is going to happen just by that sermon alone is that Luke Cage is going to have his problems. The problem is he can't get rid of evil. He can't get rid of it. In fact, the more he tries to do, even his allies are going to get in the way. And he doesn't have that much money either. His friends don't have that much money. So sooner or later, he's going to have to sell himself. Because he's just a man. He's subject to temptation, all right? He's subject to mistakes, right? And the mistakes come, in my opinion, because of his understanding, Luke Cage's understanding of this utopian city. So, of course, the villain, who's Bushmaster, says pretty much the same thing. No, that's my city. I'm going to run it the way I see fit. And he's going to do it, I guess, in an evil way. And Luke Cage wants to do it in the right way. But both of them have this problem. They're not perfect. They're not Jesus. They're not God. They're human beings. And they're going to make decisions in order for this utopian city to be developed, to be realized. But along the way, things are going to get in his way. So the Bushmaster, we could already see, he doesn't care what he does. He doesn't care what he does. He's going to kill. He's going to destroy whatever gets in his way. But Luke Cage wants to do it the right way. And there lies the frustration. I think that's where it's going to go. There lies the frustration. Along the way, even his allies are going to get in the way. So the police already seem like the police is becoming Luke Cage's enemy. Not enemy, but it's getting in the way of what Luke Cage wants to do. So then what are you going to do? Right? Then what are you going to do? Right? So I think what's going to happen is that to sin, I forgot who said this quote, to sin is human business, okay? To desire the darkness over light. That's human business. Sin is human business. But to justify sin, right, is a devilish business. And you could see Bushmaster justifying his actions, killing and whatever, because he has a goal of his utopian city. And Luke Cage also has a goal of a utopian city, but he wants to do it right. But along the way, because he's just a man, right, he's going to do things that's not as holy as he wanted to be, as good as he wanted to be. I think that's what's going to be the struggle for second season. All right, I haven't seen the whole thing yet, but I'm guessing that's what's going to be. And he's going to justify his actions, right? He's going to justify his actions. And some of them is not going to be that great. He's going to make mistakes. And he's going to choose sometimes to do things that is not good. All right, because of the frustration, because he's just a human being. And he's going to justify his actions. See, that's devilish business. All right, so I think the whole problem that season 2 is trying to portray is this whole idea of utopian, city, and considering yourself to be the person in charge that is able to say, this is my city. No one's going to do this in my city. To talk like that, right, already puts your mindset in a frame where he's going to do whatever it takes to make the city what he has imagined, and they're going to start justifying the actions that they're going to take. And I think that's where the season goes, and which is brilliant, which is totally brilliant, and by far is the best show ever. ever in the history, because it's not just a good story. It's not just the action scenes, which are all great, but it's about human struggle. And you could apply to today's context, because we all have this identity politics that's going on. Even in religion, religion creates a utopian city. The government does the same thing too, especially the socialist or the communist side of the government that comes in and tells you, oh, you could have all these wonderful things if you just allow us to be in charge of it, because that's what we want our city, our state, our country to be. And they're going to justify all the laws that they make. And I think in California last year, they averaged 3 new laws every single day, right? They could justify all that. They're going to try to control how you think, how you speak, what you do. I mean, power, right? Who defines hate really depends on whoever is in charge. And if you got these people in charge who has a utopian understanding of what the state affair is going to be, they're going to do whatever it takes for it to be that way. And whatever actions they take, they're going to justify it. And you could see it already. You could really see that's going on especially in the United States, and especially in California, in my opinion. All right, so that's the danger of it, and this show really gets in the thick of it. That applies the today's political life, not just political, today's life situation, and made it into a superhero movie, which is excellent. I look forward to watching the rest of the series. I think I'm going to watch a couple more episodes and I'll make another video on it. But please, what's the danger that's out there is that somehow people are going to make a vision into your mind of some utopian state. And when you get sucked into that state, you're going to start feeling like, I'm not there yet, so I want somebody to help me to get there, and that's how others will start taking control of you. And that's the problem with the people in the city, is they're gonna look to Luke Cage as the savior, and Luke Cage is not Jesus. He's just another man. He's gonna get frustrated, and he's gonna start doing things that's not good. Might be seen evil, all right, and that it's not gonna be good. All right, it's the growing stage for Luke Cage. I hope at the end all things work out. All right, but in the case of Jesus, he said all things work out for good. We just have to be vigilant in the way we live our lives. It's not changing the whole world, right? It's not changing the whole world, because people want to change the world. People want to change the country. People want to change the thing to make a utopian state, right? Only thing that we could change is ourselves. So independent thinking, independent way of doing life, and being kind to our neighbors, doing to others what you want others to do unto you, taking care of yourself is the way to go. And I think Jordan Peterson says that in many of his videos, talking about clean out your room. Now, I don't clean my room too much, whatever, but you know what he's saying is that instead of trying to fix the world, fix you, all right? What surrounds you first. Right? Because that's the way. If we could all take on that responsibility of just doing good, right, for ourselves and for our neighbors, not the whole state, then if everybody could do that, then we don't have to think about a utopian state, right? I know religion makes that mistake. Politicians, all right, they do the same thing. And sometimes I feel like they're doing it on purpose. Why? So that they can have power over us. An average person who works 50, 60 hours a week, who doesn't really think too much because they're so busy. We're just allowing them to control our minds. And I don't think that's good. And Luke Cage is going to tell us why it's not good. Great season, right? Awesome. It is really awesome. If you watch the show, I hope you get some thoughts. Please write your thoughts below, what you thought about the show and what you think about my videos. And I'll definitely see you next time.